Even your emotions never let go. There's so much space. Hello, people. Gilly here. Just waiting for people to come on for the first Ask Gilly session. Just trying to get the YouTube up at the same time, so just hold for one moment. Hello, Donna. Nice to see you, gorgeous. Hello, Deb. Nice to see you too, beautiful. I hope you've got your cup of tea or coffee. We're going to have some fun on this call today. I'm just going to be streaming on YouTube as well, so I'm just sorting that out. Few technical difficulties. If you could see my house at the moment, you would be giggling, because this part of the house is, you know, like all nice and perfect with plumped up cushions. You'd be impressed on it. And the other side of the house, I'm going to take a photo and share it later. It's like a disaster zone. So this is the great thing about social media, isn't it? It's all an illusion. So, okay. So, hello and welcome. Hi to Karen. It's so nice to have you guys with me on a Sunday morning. Cheers. I'm having a beautiful Tiora black tea, which I highly recommend. Very yummy. Maybe they could sponsor this. So the Ask Gilly segment. Yesterday I woke up and I felt really depressed, and I went onto my yoga mat, did my meditation like I do every morning. Got my little routine that I do, because I am prone to going into certain emotional states like self-pity, victimhood. I know these ones really well. Fear. So I have a morning routine that I do every single morning to just click me into my right space all the time. Like, despite all the work that I've done, I am still very aware that these states, they lurk in the little corners. And what happens, I've found, is that if I wake up and I lie in bed, I start to ruminate. Does anyone else do that? Give me a thumbs up if you do that. And generally speaking, my mind will start to go to negative places. So I get up, I get on the mat, and I start to align myself, I align my energy, do my meditation, and get sorted out for the day. So yesterday I said a prayer, and I want to share this with you because this is something that everyone with a soul-led business, so people who are really bringing forth their own soul gifts and sharing them with the world, this is something that we really need to come from. The place that we need to come from is a place of surrender. So I always have my agenda. Hi, Kerry. Beautiful to have you here, you shining, sparkling, gorgeous ray of light. I have my agenda, and the universe has its agenda. So a thing that I like to say when I start getting really, you know, like I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, or I'm feeling a bit flat, I'm feeling a bit down, whatever, is I say, okay, universe, I surrender everything to you. I surrender my ego, I surrender my fears, I surrender the way that I want my business to evolve, I surrender all of my desires, I surrender everything, and I ask now, how can I serve more fully? So when we come from that place of service, everything changes. And I know that you know this, so give me a little thumbs up if you feel this as well, if you've experienced this in your business, is that when you are in that state of, you know, really trying to control things, you're really trying to plan and organize everything into the nth degree, it really can stop the flow. And so what happened was, out of that space, I suddenly got this really clear feeling that I wanted to show up more in this group, and I wanted to be doing more of what I love, what I am gifted and talented at, which is doing intuitive soul mentoring for people who are leaders and visionaries. You know, someone called me the other day a cheerleader for leaders, and that is so true. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to come on and I'm going to do this regularly and I'm going to show up in this group more, doing more of this, because I don't know, does anyone get this as well? This is something that is interesting in business, is we can often feel like, oh, if I give the farm away, I've given everything away. You know, like if I give more of myself, people won't want to come into my group, or they won't want to come and do individual soul mentoring. But you know, anyone who runs groups, and I know Donna, you run a wonderful group for interior designers, is that you know that when people come closer to you and they're working with you in a more intimate space, they receive even more of you, and that's even more intimate when we're doing one-on-one soul mentoring. So I just wanted to start with us just having a big deep breath and just connecting in to our hearts and to the part of us that is all knowing, the part of us that knows exactly what we're here to do, how we are to show up and serve. So just taking a nice deep breath, placing your hand on your heart, hand on your solar plexus, closing your eyes down, feet on the earth, grounded, connected in, connected to the heavens, connected to the earth, connected to your heart, connected to what feels right for you, connected to how you can serve in a way that serves others, but also deeply, deeply serves you. Beautiful. So what I'm going to do is I've sent out a little email with a questionnaire and asked people to ask their questions. So I have a few questions that I'm going to answer today, and some people aren't on the call live, but these are universal questions. So I've set it up with my team that these questions will be answered. So it's for the whole, and you know, we can all learn from everybody else's experience. One thing that I have learned after doing private intuitive mentoring and soul energy sessions for over 20 years is that we are all the same. Everybody feels the same, especially people who are bringing forth their gifts, especially people who are very heart-centered, especially people who are very sensitive to energy. We often have the same blocks to bringing forth our gifts in business, and those are often around the fears of being seen, the fears of being rejected from the tribe, from the family, from them, the fear of really shining our light and, you know, what people might think of us. And normally when I'm working with someone in an individual session, I can really track back to where that fear first of all came in and where we left ourselves. So, you know, there's always a time in our life where we shone our light really, really brightly and we were shamed or rejected for shining. Oh, who are you to think that you could do that? Whatever it is. So that's something that is, you know, it's universal across a lot of people. And one of the things that I've been asked today, and I'm going to read out this question because I know that a lot of you will relate to this. And, you know, if you want to drop in your comments about this, because I know there's some very experienced amazing businesswomen in here. And this community is about supporting people to shine their light. This is why I do what I do. I really want people to feel like they have the space and the freedom to shine. And, you know, that's something that as a very, very highly sensitive, highly empathic person, as a child, I shone my light very brightly and was received, you know, for my gifts by my family, but by the wider community and where I grew up, not so much. And, you know, I rejected those parts of myself. I actually shamed them and rejected them so much that it's taken me a long time to really, really deeply reclaim them. So one of the first questions that I got from beautiful Paula, who I don't think is on the call at the moment, but I know she's going to be looking at this later. And this is all about the ebb and flow of business. So pop a little love heart if this is something where being in business, one of the biggest things is the ebb and flow, right? So her question is, I get battered around by my workflow, cash flow, and need a better way to handle it. When I have lots coming in at once, anything from inquiry to actual paid work, I get stressed. And then when things quieten down, I stress I haven't got any work in the pipeline, but it always works out. I just forget to trust. Thumbs up if you know how that feels. It's a rocky roller coaster I haven't managed to handle yet. So the first thing I am getting for Paula is it's around boundaries. And because Paula is also a highly empathetic person, she is highly emotional. She feels things deeply, which makes her an incredibly gifted healer. It makes her someone who's incredibly gifted in her website design, because she's actually able to deeply, deeply feel what it is that people really want to get across in their graphic design, in their imagery, and she's actually able to feel into what people want, even when they don't really understand it themselves. So one of the things that can happen, though, is that with the ebb and flow of business, especially if we're someone who's very, very empathetic and sensitive, is that we have the people pleaser. So who knows the people pleaser? Who here would say that they are? I mean, I put my hand up. I am a recovering people pleaser. What can happen with being a people pleaser in business is that our expectations of ourselves are really, really high. So we always want to deliver extremely exceptional results for our clients. Now that's wonderful, isn't it? That's great. That's wonderful. That's what we should all be doing, is, you know, wanting to please our customers, wanting to do all of that. But when it comes to the detriment of ourselves, so when it comes that we set unrealistic timeframes with our clients, for example, for Paula, who's doing websites, you know, it may be that she needs to say, well, look, it's going to take this amount of time, because at the moment I am really busy with my work, so it's going to actually take 2 weeks longer. Now, the thing is that if you just heard that piece of advice as a piece of business advice, and you weren't aware of the fact, that little tickly ego bit, so this is the intuitive part, is if you weren't aware of the people-pleasing part of yourself, Paula, and the fact that you really desire to serve others to the detriment of yourself sometimes, and desire to please and to perform extremely, exceptionally highly, but often you need to set more realistic expectations. So this can create more flow within our work. And I know that those of you who are further down the line and have really busy, successful businesses will be able to comment on this as well, in terms of how you manage that ebb and the flow. Now, the other piece of advice, I like to give strategies to people that are grounded in practical advice, as well as the woo-woos and the practicality. The other piece of advice that I received, which I love and has made a massive difference for me, is to have 3 months of savings. So that sounds like such a piece of practical advice, but it has honestly changed and shifted my energy so much. So now I know that I have that little nest egg, that when I have the ebbs and the flows, because we all have that, our business, our soul business, is an extension of ourself. So when we are feeling really aligned, when we're feeling really passionate, when we're really dynamic, when we're really attractive, we're really attracting. But on conversely, you know, when we've got stuff going on, and we all have this in our relationships, with parenting, whatever it is, when we've got that stuff going on, we can, you know, need to pull back. And our business is, you know, we're in a relationship, a constant relationship with our business. And I know that you're hearing things within this, people, so just give a little love heart if this is resonating, that love and that communication with our business as a part of us and as an extension of us, as a reflection of us and in relationship to us, is also something that, you know, it has the ebbs and the flows. So I am very much an ebb and a flow person. I have learned this about myself. I have accepted this about myself. And lovely Paula, for you, this is something to really accept, is that because you are such a highly emotional person, because you're such an empathetic person, you are going to have ebbs and flows in your business, because you have ebbs and flows in your life. So having a little cushion of money is really, really important. The other thing that made an enormous difference to my life is giving myself permission to have holidays. So who also does this? I set myself 3 weeks at Christmas and a week each school holiday to have off. So I have 6 weeks off a year. So I know this, my clients know this, and it actually has made me much more in demand, much more attractive to people, because they see that I care deeply for myself. They see that I am able to put myself first, that my business, whilst it's part of my life, it's not all of my life. Although sometimes, you know, when we're doing our soul-led businesses, we're so passionate about them, we love doing them. That's why I'm here on a Sunday, because I love it. And also I've got builders all week, so so making it work for us as well. So Paula, those would be two of my strategies for you, honey, is really knowing your empathic nature, really knowing that intuitive part of yourself, setting aside some money, setting aside some time that you have off. So you create really strong boundaries. And that word for you is always going to be a big word. We've always got to come back to our truth. It's a constant reminder. So knowing our truth and being constantly reminded of it is something that's made a world of difference for me. So people are sometimes surprised that I have ongoing coaching. I think that we all should. It's really important that we have people in our life who are there as truth barriers. So they're the people that we can go to and we can spin all our stuff. And, you know, we argue very strongly for our positions, don't we? We argue for our limitations very, very strongly. But having people who are our truth barriers, who keep us, you know, in line with our truth and keep us on our soul path is just so important. So I constantly need that. And I think, you know, Paula, when you're really working in the healing arts and doing your web design, that's really important as well. So thumbs up if there was something within that that resonated for all of us, because I know that these are universal truths. Like I say, there's nothing that I've heard from any person from 20 years of intuitive soul coaching and soul mentoring energy work. There's nothing that I've heard that's actually unique to one person. We think we're unique. We shame those part of ourselves. We think that those parts are shameful, and so we don't talk about them, we don't share them. And I am a truth speaker, so I like to get on in there and talk about truth for people. So the next question I've got is from the beautiful Debbie, who is on the call. So Debbie has sent through this question. And, oh, Paula, you're just on. I've already answered your question, but that's cool, honey, because I know that you're going to get a lot from this as well. So the question from Deb is just feeling the need for reassurance that I haven't deviated from my truth. I want to feel strong and know that my small actions and interactions are part of the journey, building momentum on what I have to offer. Even though I still feel like I haven't yet pinpointed that precisely because I kind of can't, regardless of the big decision to create a business called Unfurl. Still learning to know the difference between my truth and my ego voice. Damn rational brain, Gilly. Yeah, I know that damn rational brain, Debbie. Okay, so the first thing that really comes in when I'm reading this, and I've read through these, you know, I got this last night, and so I really was able to sit with the energy within the words that you're speaking. And, you know, the line, the need for reassurance. So one of the things that is always going to be within you, and it's fine. This isn't something that we have to get over. This isn't something that we have to actually, you know, these truths about ourselves are a constant truth. So I know that I will always tend towards fear. I will always tend towards lack. I'll always tend towards drama. So, you know, if my business isn't going well, that's it. My business is over and I'm getting a job. You know, so that's my nature. I'm dramatic. I'm highly emotional. I have people in my life now that bring me back to my truth, and that's really important. So one of the things with you, Deb, is that you're always going to need reassurance. And, you know, that's something from your whole life's journey, is you're always going to seek to have a lot of reassurance and that real nurturing, mothering, maternal desire to be loved and accepted for who you truly are. Now, this is within all of us, but it's especially true of you. So the need for reassurance. So it's really, really important. And it's interesting that what you're doing is building a community, right? So what we build is always what we want. So we often build what we crave. And so, you know, the need within you to build this sustainable community for people to come together and support one another is also what you're deeply craving for yourself. So that is one of the parts of that question, is that just to know that it's okay. It's okay to always need reassurance. But what we can do is we can look to the wrong people for reassurance of our dream. And we can look outside of ourselves for reassurance when actually we need to deeply come into our hearts, and we need to ask ourselves, is this, so we're really developing our intuitive muscle, which comes into that second part of your question, is how do I know if it's my ego? Take a breath, Jill. Oh my God, I get so excited. How do I know if it's my ego or my intuition? I mean, this is like something that people battle with all the time. And, you know, I'm constantly going, is that me making that up? Or is that actually intuitive? What I know to be true for me and for a lot of other people is that when something comes and it's graceful, it's loving, it's supportive, it is fundamentally serving you as well as serving other people. It is the voice of love. It's the voice of intuition. And it's a voice that feels very nurturing, nourishing, and actually really supports you. So the voice of the ego is always going to be about going into fear, going into lack, competition, comparison, judgment of self, judgment of others. It's often going to be really, how would I describe it? The voice of the ego, to me, it feels like sort of that 1980s Wolf of Wall Street kind of go for it kind of thing, as opposed to the voice of intuition, which is always, it's really gentle and really loving. So I don't know whether that resonates at all. So getting to know ourselves and our true nature is really, really important. And, you know, coming back to you all the time. So one of the things that I say to myself often is, I now come back to me. So being someone who's really empathic, who picks up on everybody's energy, I have to say this to myself constantly throughout the day. I now come back to me. So this would be a really good thing, Deb, for you to say to yourself, is I now come back to my truth, I now come back to me, and I now come back to my own alignment. And it might be good to have a strategy where you have 3 key words for your business, so that you can come in and you can kind of go, is this idea aligning with my overall vision? So is this serving the overall vision of my business? And meditating on those 3 words, so asking to receive those 3 words, and I'll just see if I can actually access those as well. So one of the first things for you is community. So community, actually it's pretty obvious, it's community, it's support, and it's nurturing. So you want your business to be exactly what you want. So see, the holographic nature of the world that we live in is how we serve others is always how we want to be served. So you want to have a business that's built on community support and nurturing yourself and nurturing others. So what's really important for us soul-led beautiful goddesses is that we always put ourselves in the picture. So one of the other parts of when I say I now come back to me first, so that's the little bit that I add on, I now come back to me first. So I have had to learn to put myself in the frame. So I spend a lot of time being like a canvas that people would just paint upon, and because I would be empathic and I was able to actually just change myself like a chameleon into what people needed. And, you know, I would be able to ebb and flow with what people needed from me. I could give them either laughter and upliftment, or I could give them my concerned face or whatever. But I've had to actually learn to really deeply say, how am I being served within this? So that's been a real shift for me. How am I being served within my business? And that's a boundary thing as well. So how is that resonating? Is that resonating? Are you feeling like you're getting some truth and something that's coming in? Because I'd like to now do a meditation for all of us here. And as you know, if you've, I'm just checking to see if I didn't, Karen, I don't think I got your question, honey. Your gobbly goop question. I don't think I received. Okay, so no, I didn't. So let's just take a moment. There's a few of us are still on the call, which is nice. And just pop a love heart or a little thumbs up just to let me know that you're still there, or just comment and let me know that you're still here. Okay, so right, Paula's commented, thanks, honey, I hear you, but at the moment the savings just aren't possible. I'm barely keeping on top of expenses, but this will change. Thank you. Paula, I so know that position, and that was where I was probably about a year ago before I started to put this into place. I just started saving a really minimal amount per week. So I'd skim the cream off when I started to receive. And I know that it's really hard, especially, I just really want to honor the fact that you are on your own. Have a look and have a think about, you know, the pendulum. So remember those pendulums that were on the desks back in the 80s, you know, and they'd swing from one to the other. So from that real state of overwhelm to the real state of fear. So I'm quite similar to you, where I swing quite a lot from those states. And it's just really important that we remember that we need to kind of come into the center of ourselves. And, you know, you are creating epic flow. You have aligned your business a lot, even in the last few months. And your business has taken on a slightly different direction. So when that happens, it's often like we're reversing, shifting gears, orbiting around the moon, and then, you know, we skyrocket off. So yeah, it's something to kind of consider, just about that nature of the pendulum as well. So thank you for feeding that back, and love to know how you feel about that. Donna, fantastic tips, Gilly. I am more in demand by becoming less available. It's beautiful, isn't it? I love that. I absolutely love that, Donna. You are more in demand by becoming less available. That's right. It's an amazing thing. It's like you have built your brand for years, and you've been extremely, I have to say, you've been extremely good at putting yourself out there. And also, I love the fact that you see the importance of time out and schedule holidays regularly. It's wonderful, isn't it, how much that changes things from that overgiving and that overserving. And it's so counterintuitive, isn't it? Like, it feels so weird. You know, I've stopped seeing people in person, and I'm only doing my sessions via Zoom. And someone said to me the other day, but, you know, why would you stop doing that when you're in demand and you are receiving money that way? And I'm creating a business that is aligned with my soul, a business that serves me so that I can serve and support lots and lots more people, and share my gifts so that other people can shine even more fully. But it is interesting when we change our dynamic, how that can shift and change our business. And yeah, when we take time out and take holidays, it's fascinating how after a little while we actually do more in less time. And this is the business that we all want to be building, is a business that really serves and supports you as well. So hi, Kathy. I haven't met you before. It's lovely to have you on the call. We've been talking about soul-led business, so you might just want to drop in where you're from and what your business is as well, honey. So yeah, so now I think that what we might do, if anyone's got a question that or a comment that they just want to pop into the sidebar, I have answered the questions that I've received via email. And if anyone wants to send a question that I can go into and do some soul mentoring on, the link is also in this group. So that's there. I'm going to be doing this more regular. I want to come in at least once a week to do this because I love doing it. It's so much fun to serve and support people who are really shining their light and who are real leaders. I get such a kick out of it. I woke up this morning so incredibly excited, and yeah, and it's wonderful. Oh, Donna, thank you for saying that. It's because of your help, Gilly, that I have the confidence to put myself out there more. Well, that's amazing, because Donna, man, you're incredible, and I like bow down to you and, you know, salute you, because I think that you do an amazing, amazing job. So thank you so much for saying that. I deeply receive that. I am learning to receive so much more lately, and it is such a beautiful thing. I receive compliments deeply, deeply into my heart. This was always such a hard thing for me. Does anyone else struggle with that? People tell you you're amazing and you're like, oh yeah, but you know. So yeah, Kathy, you're still here, and yeah, if you want to comment, thanks for your love, Donna. It means the world. Okay, so we're going to do a closing meditation, and these are all intuited for the group that's on here now, and also for anyone that is going to come on later. So I'm going to close my eyes. So you can close your eyes too. And I hope that you've got a little bit of space and time. It'll be probably about 3 to 4 minutes. I really want us just to, in this space, if you can just pop your feet on the floor, uncross your legs, uncross your hands, and just take a moment to take a nice deep breath. Let everything go. So just now creating a beautiful sacred circle of love between all of us on this call and all of those that watch this Facebook Live later on. The message that I am really receiving for everybody is just to drop into your heart center. If you want to, just place your hand on your heart, just to drop into this part of yourself that is all knowing, that is all loving, that is eternal, that has been here before you were here physically and will still exist after you leave the earth plane. The all-knowing, all-remembering, wise part of ourselves. Placing a hand on your solar plexus. And just allowing your breath to be beautiful and soft. So we're going to take a little soul journey. I want you to think of an age between 0 and 10 that pops into your mind. And just come into that space of connecting in with that inner child, your inner self, your inner beautiful wise self. At that age, that the number that's just come to you, don't try and analyze it, just sit with it. And I just want you to see this little girl, this beautiful soul within you. Just see how she's feeling, what she's doing. And just gently walk up to her and sit down beside her. And just hold her hand and introduce yourself to her. Let her know that you are her from the future. That you made it to adulthood. That you're completely safe. That she's completely safe. And that no matter what's happened, no matter how your soul gifts, your beautiful true nature may have been shamed, rejected, unseen or unloved, that you're here now to reclaim her, to bring her back safely into your heart, and to let her know that she is deeply, deeply held and deeply, deeply loved. And just allow yourself to give her a big hug. And just see her becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. And placing her into your heart now. So just feeling as you've got your hand on your heart. Just now deeply connecting in with that beautiful inner child. Your beautiful soul self. Just gently talking to her. And letting her know in your own head, saying to yourself with your own name, Gilly, you are safe. Gilly, you are loved. Gilly, I know that you're afraid of your own light, but I am here to support you. Gilly, I love you. And when you're ready, just gently opening up your eyes. And just feeling that beautiful love in your heart. Feeling that sense of deep, deep connection into your truth. So beautiful to commune with you this morning. Loved being here with you. It's such an honor and a privilege to support such beautiful and amazing souls. All of you are doing such incredible work, and I know that sometimes it can feel really, 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 really hard to be in soul-led businesses. It can require so much of us, and I'm not asking anything of anyone that I'm not asking of myself. I battle with it all the time. I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and I'm still vulnerably showing up, and deeply grateful that I have had people show up on this call, because this is my first Ask Gilly. it does require a big leap of faith for me that there'll be something that comes through that's of value to somebody. I still question that. I've learned that being vulnerable is okay. It's taken me a really long time. Thank God for Brene Brown. Yes! If anyone hasn't watched that Netflix, it's just the best. I watched it again last night with my husband, and even he was going, you know, wow, she's amazing. And she makes me laugh. You know, it's so important for us all to stick together and to create a community of people who are getting out of their comfort zone, who are sharing and shining, and all of you who are doing Facebook Lives, all of you who are seeking support, all of you who are showing up for others in your business, all of you who are taking giant leaps of faith and keeping on going, even though it's a struggle. Maybe it's a struggle financially, maybe it's a struggle with struggling with fear. I understand. So it's beautiful to commune with you. I wish you all the most amazing Sunday, the most amazing soul day. Go and do something that you love, and have that deep connection with yourself today. So lots and lots of love, lots of hugs. Such a pleasure to be with you, and I will be back soon, this week even. So lots of love. Keep those questions coming. Bye.